Hello students, today we are going to start a new topic, that is Fermat's theorem. So let us start. Fermat's theorem states that if p is a prime integer and a be any integer, okay, p is a prime integer and what is a? It may be any integer, and GCD of a and p is 1, okay, GCD greatest common divisor or HCF highest common factor of a and p must be 1. Then what we have a raised to the power p minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo p, or we can write this a raised to the power p is congruent to a modulo p, or in other words we can say that a raised to the power p minus 1 is divisible by p. This statement is implies from this, okay. So this is called Fermat's theorem. Now let us see examples of this theorem by taking different values of a and p. Suppose I take in place of a 11, okay, and in place of p we take 5, okay. So is this condition holds here? Very well, okay. In place of a I take 11 and in place of p I take 5, because p must be prime, here p 5 prime and in place of a 11. So by taking values of a and p in this theorem, what we can write? We can write 11 raised to the power, in place of a we write 11 raised to the power p minus 1, that is in place of p we write 5, that is 5 minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo p, that is 5, okay. Here condition must hold, GCD of 5 and 11 must be 1. This condition is very important. GCD of a and p must be 1, okay. So that is, we can write 11 raised to the power 4 is congruent to 1 modulo 5, okay. Or we can write when 11 raised to the power 4 is divided by 5, the remainder is 1, okay. This thing is implication of this part, okay. When 11 raised to the power 4 is congruent to 1 modulo 5, that is, if we divide 11 raised to the power 4 by 5, we get remainder 1. Let us see some other examples. Suppose we write here a question, what is remainder if 3 raised to the power 102 is divided by 5, okay. 3 raised to the power 102 is divided by 5, then we have to find the remainder. So by using this theorem we easily see that in place of a we see here 3 and in place of p we see here 5, okay. So here we take a is equals to 3 and p is equals to 5, and this condition we check GCD of 3 and 5 is 1 or not? Yes, this one, okay, because 3 and 5 are relatively prime numbers, okay. So what we can write by using this theorem, in place of a we write 3, that is 3 raised to the power p minus 1, that is 3 raised to the power 5 minus 1. Okay, either we use this condition or we can also use this condition. Okay, so whatever you choose. Okay, so 3 raised to the power 5 minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod 5, 1 modulo 5. Okay, that is 3 raised to the power 1, 3 raised to the power 5 minus 1, that is 4, is congruent to 1 modulo 5. Okay, now we have to arise from this condition to this condition. We have to arise 3 raised to the power 102, and we have only 3 raised to the power 4. So now we see that 3 raised to the power 102 can be written as 3 raised to the power 4 raised to the power 25. So 25 4 is 100 and remains 2 powers, and then we write 3 raised to the power 2. So it total becomes is equals to 102. How? 25 4 is 100 plus 2 power, that is total 102, and we see that 3 raised to the power 4 is congruent to 1 over modulo 5. Therefore we write here 3 raised to the power 4 is congruent to 1. In place of 3 raised to the power 4 we write 1 raised to the power 25 becomes 1, and 2 3 raised to the power 2, that is 9 modulo 5, 1 raised to the power 25, that is 1 into 9, that is 9 modulo 5. And what is congruent to 9 modulo 5? So we find that if 9 is divided by 5, then what is remainder? The remainder is 4. Okay, so this is your answer. What we have asked, what is remainder if 3 raised to the power 102 is divided by 5? That answer is 4. 4 is remainder when 3 raised to the power 102 is divided by 5. So many more examples you can try. Now let us see the proof of this theorem. Okay, proof is also important, so let us see the proof. Okay, so we know that a plus b raised to the power right here, that is p. Okay, a plus b raised to the power p. Now we are going to expand this term by using binomial theorem. Okay, binomial expansion of this term we gives a plus b raised to the power p, pc0 a raised to the power p minus 0, that is p, and b raised to the power 0, plus pc1 a raised to the power p minus 1, this minus this, and b raised to the power this. Okay, pc2 a raised to the power p minus 2 upper minus lower part, and b raised to the power lower part. Similarly in all terms we write. Now let us see that pc0 is equals to 1, a raised to the power p raised to the power 0 also 1, plus we write first term plus direct last term, and the remains terms should be write after that terms. Okay, so pcp is also 1, a raised to the power 0 also 1, so what we have, b raised to the power p. This is first term, this is last term, and other terms remaining to other terms we write this portion. Okay, so one important thing we see that here, that all the terms contains p as a factor. Okay, PC1 is equals to P. What is PC2? That is P minus 1 divided by 2. PC3, PC4, all these terms have P as a factor. That is, all these terms are divisible by P. That is, we can take P as a common factor from all these terms. Okay, so take P common from all these terms, all other terms. First term, last term, and all these terms taking P common. Okay, so A plus B raised to the power P. In place of A and B, we write x1 and x2. Any problem? No, there is no problem. x1 plus x2 raised to the power P, that is x1 raised to the power P plus x2 raised to the power P. Okay, plus P into all terms, that is overall this terms is divisible by P. We can easily write that all these terms are divisible by P. Okay, terms are divisible by P. According to definition of modulo, addition modulo, okay, according to definition of addition modulo P, these terms should be 0, because if this terms is divided by P, the remainder is 0. Okay, so these terms vanish over modulo P, because these terms when divided by P, the remainder is 0. Okay, now generalize these terms. Generalize. Here we see that we have only two terms, x1 and x2. Here x1 and x2. If we generalize this statement, then we can write x1 plus x2 plus x3 raised to power P is equals to x1p, x2p, x3p modulo P. Okay, modulo P. Again generalize x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus up to and so on xa raised to the power P is equals to x1p, x2p plus xap. Okay, modulo 5. Sorry, modulo P. Now we write in place of x1 is equals to 1, in place of x2 we write 1, xa is equals to 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 up to how many terms? Up to a number of terms, that is 1 1 1 1 1 1 total a, because we are going up to a terms. Okay, if we are going up to 10 terms, then 1 plus 1 plus up to 10 terms, that is 10, up to 15 terms, that is 15, up to a terms, that is a. Okay, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus a हो जाएगा, becomes a raised to the power p is equals to, or we can write congruent to, congruent is congruent to, here was it what we see that x1 equal 1 raised to power p, 1 raised to power p is 1 raised to power p also 1, that is 1 1 1 1 1. That is 1 1 1 1. How many times 1? A times 1. That is a modulo p. If we add 1 1 1 1 10 times, then it becomes 10. If we add 1 1 1 1 a times, then it becomes a. So this is a condition. This proves the Fermat's theorem. If we want to get these conditions, then divide both sides by a, ap divide by a divide by a mod p, that is ap minus 1 is congruent to a by a, cancel 1 mod p. Okay, this proves the Fermat's theorem. If any doubt you occur here, you find here, then please ask in comment section. If you like this video, then please subscribe and share, and please subscribe my own channel link given in your description box, and any other suggestions if you want to give, then please welcome, and thank you very much. Jai Shri Krishna.